On to my next question. Stunning question number 5 this week. If you haven't seen week 1 of Vice's TV 4-part series on Who Killed WCW, go out and check it. You can check it out on their YouTube channel. I just watched it this past weekend. And Ashley, my question for you: who, in your opinion, killed "quote unquote" WCW?
Oh, I know there's a lot of itching to put the blame on one guy. And we mostly know who that one guy is who gets the blame for it. And I will put a lot of the blame on him for sure. But I think there was more than just him. There was too many poor decisions made around what they thought was an infallible product, or just thinking like they could do no wrong. And then also, I know it for some reason gets overlooked, but when the channel you're on no longer wants to support or play the product that you make, you're not going to have a product. It's not going to matter how good or bad it is.
Honestly, I feel like I think the answer we're going to get is D. It's all the above. It's a little bit of Eric Bischoff. It's a little bit of the AOL Time Warner merger. It's a little bit of Hogan playing that creative control card, brother. If you go, oh, hey, perfect example. If you ever seen Starrcade 1997, Sting versus Hogan, to me personally, that is the start of the slide of WCW, because they had 18 months of great booking going into that match. They had it set up for babyface Sting to reclaim the title from Hogan, finish the NWO being strong, them going away to regroup, and we come into that event that day, and the finish gets changed, and they go to the ring thinking, oh, it's going to be a fast count by Nick Patrick, and he doesn't do a fast count, and you're sitting there at the end of the match going like, what's going on? And oh, hey, this is when we decided to debut Bret Hart. We just got him for WWE like right after the Montreal Screwjob, and we're going to make him a special guest referee in the match before with him versus Eric Bischoff versus Larry Zbyszko, and Zbyszko wins that match to get Nitro back to WCW. And here we are. We got Bret Hart off of the hottest angle in professional wrestling history on your TV. And this is the role you decide for Bret Hart is this pay-per-view. I would just say to him for Monday Nitro and let him have a live night and be the very first thing on that Nitro.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a perfect thing to do. Like you said, like Bret Hart's just coming out of not only just like one of the hottest feuds with like Steve Austin, but like the like real life, like behind the scenes stuff that certainly blew everything up with like Vince and everything. Having him come back and that's their biggest sin to me, wasting Bret Hart the way they did. But like you said, it's like everybody had a hand, like Hogan not wanting to back down. They realized they struck gold with NWO, and instead of ever giving it any time to breathe, they rode it till the wheels came off. Like they made some of the most absurd booking decisions I think any of us have ever seen. And it just felt like at one point they knew they were done, and they were just like, well, it's over anyway, so might as well.
Honestly, if you watched any of WCW from late 2000 to the end, I'm pretty much sure they understood the Titanic was sinking, and they were just the band playing the song on the ship.
It's a pretty good comparison. It was definitely a very weird time for the last like 2 years or whatever, year and a half.
Yes, it was. And no, Ashley, I'm not going to ask you to do a secondary podcast covering that said time period.
Thank you. Do you imagine all the wrestling we watch and then having to throw in some late 90s, early 2000s WCW in there?
I don't know if I'm ready for that, Ashley. I mean,
your soul left your body.
I remember a young college Shawn enjoying WCW, and now looking back on the WWE network at that time period from 2000 to 2001, I'm going like, Shawn, what were you doing back then? I know you don't drink. I know you don't smoke. What were you doing?
It is so weird to look back at wrestling from that time because it was so popular and it was so big, but I feel like it's so much better now.
You know, it's all that saying where it's like you see the past in rose-colored glasses. And I feel like I did that with WCW until I watched it over again about 2 years ago.
It's it is rough because I mean there's still time, like I go back and watch like old stuff all the time too, and there's stuff I know is bad, like, but I still watch it. Yeah, mid-90s WWF, it's garbage, but I watch it every once in a while because I grew up with it and it's nostalgic.
Well, we're moving on to the sixth and final setting question this week.